in the end.
Well, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. We've reached the final WWE game on Xbox. I wish I could say third time is the charm, but sadly, it's not for this one. It's actually quite sad here what we're working with. 2005 was the year WrestleMania went Hollywood. Not only was the event held in Los Angeles, the fifth WrestleMania to be held there up to this point, but there were many movie parodies to play up to this. Parodies of Forrest Gump, Braveheart, Basic Instinct, Pulp Fiction, A Few Good Men, Dirty Harry, When Harry Met Sally, Taxi Driver, and Gladiator. It was also home to many memorable moments. The inaugural Money in the Bank ladder match, Stone Cold's return, Randy Orton versus Undertaker, Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle, and we saw the historic championship wins of Batista and John Cena, who won the World Heavyweight Championship and WWE Championship respectively. It was so successful, WWE decided to do it all over again in 2023 to some results, some good, some bad, and some that damn near ruined some of us. Well, never mind that. We're here to talk about the game that was based off this event. Though the road itself was paved with good intentions, how we got here was not only a rocky journey, but a rough landing to boot. Since this is an Xbox game, I think you know what sound effect is coming up next. 2 references to this in 1 year. I must be making up for lost time, I guess. Shortly before the disaster that was MK Special Forces came out, MK co-creator John Tobias and several other prominent Midway employees, like David Michicic, which I probably butchered, but oh well, and Josh Sui left Midway in 1999. 1 year later, they formed their own development studio, Studio Giganti. The name was a play on Sabado Giganti. This company only ever made 2 games in their entire existence. The first was Tao Fang Fist of the Lotus, a Mortal Kombat-like game that focused more on intensity and realism. They even included damaging effects on fighters and interactive environments. While that game had a mixed to positive reception upon release, someone at THQ must have caught wind of this game. Combine this with Raw 2 receiving the same Metacritic score as Raw 1, probably selling slightly worse as well. And that probably influenced THQ and WWE's decision to ditch Anchor and go with Studio Giganti for their next Xbox wrestling game. The game entered development in late 2003, but it wasn't officially announced until early 2004. Tom Pritchard broke the news on February 15, 2004 in his column when he mentioned in his blog that he went to LA for motion capture sessions for the then unnamed next WWE Xbox game. Studio Giganti even had job openings for 3D character artists, face sculptors, and motion animators. The game's official title of WrestleMania 21, named after the next WrestleMania event that was soon to be, was revealed on May 6, 2004. The game was scheduled for an early 2005 release, likely sometime around the next event, which itself was announced at WrestleMania 20. The game was slated to take advantage of Xbox hardware visual prowess, and it would include modes not seen in other WWE games at the time. THQ had intended for this game to come out sooner, about late 2004, but had to push it back to time the release with the actual event this game was based off of. Press releases of the game showed off promise. A big roster with modern superstars and legends like Andre the Giant and The Rock. Graphics looked promising, controls looked well, the damage indicator from other games would be here, plenty of match types, actual voice work, more than in SmackDown vs. Raw, career, online multiplayer, create a wrestler and create a belt modes, and probably more. That's a lot to work with, isn't it? Despite some hiccups and delays, everything did release around the time of WrestleMania 21, albeit 17 days after the event. WrestleMania 21 was developed by Studio Giganti and published by THQ exclusively for the Xbox, releasing on April 20th, 2005 for North America and May 27, 2005 for Europe. I wish I could say this was the best WWE game for the Xbox, but sadly this game gets pile driving in many different ways. WrestleMania 21 has a few key modes of play. You have Exhibition Mode, which will give you single and multiplayer options for any match type available in the game. You can do specific match types against players online, and you have Career Mode. We'll get to that one later on. Match options here include single and tag matches, handicap, triple threat, fatal 4-way, last man standing, battle royals, and royal rumbles. Oh, and Braun Panties matches return from SmackDown vs. Raw, and here comes the pain. Oh wait, just Panty. I already made the That 70s Show reference in my Day of Reckoning 1 review, so let's move on. I will say though, it's funny to see a mistake like this made by an American developer as opposed to a Japanese developer, where they have that excuse to make the mistake because English isn't Japan's primary language. For the normal match types, you have Cage, Hell in a Cell, Tables, TLC, or ladder match variants where applicable. It's once again another decent selection of match types, though some additional types like 3 Stages of Hell, First Blood, Iron Man, just to name a few, would have really helped flesh out the variety of matches to play. I should mention that in order to emulate certain match types, you must go into the options menu and adjust every setting to match the type you want to do. So if you want to do hardcore matches, you have to set it up in the options. This is not how it's done in other games where you can just select the match type and everything is set up for you. You also have 2 create modes here, Create a Superstar and Championship. We'll get to the Superstar part before we get into Career Mode, but let's focus on Championship for now. Here, you can create new singles or tag belts. You can adjust the color, center plates, which include designs for things from pay-per-views, standard championships, and even specialties like the Brahma Bowl or Smoking Skull belts, with adjustable colors where applicable. You can slide plates on both the inner and outer sides of the belt. Most of these options, though, like the ones seen in CAW, are locked and have to be purchased in the shop. Oh yeah, the shop. Like Day of Reckoning 1 and 2, there is a shop where you can buy various unlockables. These include legends like Bret Hart and Andre the Giant, pay-per-view arenas, in addition to some story mode specific ones, weapons, attributes for CAWs, items for CAS and CAC, Titantrons, concept art, renders for various things in the game, loading screens, and various logos to view. I should mention that unlike the other games that have shop zones, in addition to having enough money, you need to reach a certain prestige level before you can even buy an item. For example, you need to get to Rising Star prestige level in order to buy the Rock. You'll earn prestige and money by playing normal matches in the game. You'll first create a profile, then access it upon boot, which you have to do every time. Something the other games didn't do, because they would just auto-save and auto-load your progress where necessary. Here, you're on your own. This means you can play matches in any mode without earning money or ranking stuff. I know this seems like a small thing, but it's easy to miss because you can end up playing through story mode and not earn anything for it. Especially because you don't upgrade your CAS attributes the same way in the DOR games. You have to buy the stats here, as opposed to just earning points and distributing at the end of matches in story mode. All of this just needlessly complicated, and it doesn't make sense when you compare it to what has come before. If that was the only issue, that would be one thing. But my friends, the problems do not stop here. Then you actually have to play the game. If you've played even one wrestling game, you'll pick up on this. Strikes are what you would expect, being simple, but you actually have multiple grapple types. You have quick grapples and strong grapples, but you also have specialty grapples and submission grapples, the latter of which will set up a submission. When it comes to the fighting, each character has 3 meters. There's a blue meter that drains when you attack or get attacked. And below that is your heat meter. As you continue to do well, it builds up. You also get random heat boost from time to time. There's also a damage meter to indicate where damage has been taken and how bad the damage is. On the whole, everything looks like it should, but playing it feels so sluggish. I know this footage doesn't really portray it that way, but once you actually start playing it, you'll see what I mean. It almost feels like delayed inputs when it comes to button presses. Maybe it has something to do with the stats? But seeing as how on the lowest difficulty you'll be fine with default stats for your CAWs, I kinda doubt that part. Regardless, the whole game just feels awful to play. It's like someone is playing it drunk. On top of that, there are a whole host of other issues. Collision detection can be very hit or miss, and it can lead to some funny fails, like when someone tries to break up the pin, but they end up missing and eating shit as a result. Other times, it's down to the AI that, in the case of an interferer, will use a ladder in a ladder match to attack both participants regardless of side, and then try to pull a James Ellsworth a la Money in the Bank 2018 by getting the title in a match where they aren't even the legal participant. Yeah, it's not fun in either circumstance. Not to mention, the gameplay really rewards the aggressor, whether it's human or AI, which itself is a double-edged sword, because you can hammer on the opponents on the lowest difficulty, and they can do the same to you. This does vary depending on the difficulty you select, but I want a proper balance. I had the AI getting way too out of control in the Day of Reckoning games, and here I have some that just does not care. Well, they didn't in the DOR games either, but that's beside the point. It just leads to a gameplay experience that feels muddled to hell, and it feels like an actual chore to play. It's not even so much difficult, just much as it is tedious. That's not even counting all the other intricacies that muddy this thing down. It just doesn't feel fun. The controls here are pretty straightforward at least. X is strike, Y is run, and pressing B will trigger a specialty grapple, and holding B will trigger a submission grapple. You just hit the buttons fast to break out of a submission and vice versa to tap your opponent out. A button is the normal grapple, and pressing it will give you a quick one, and holding it will give you a strong grapple. Black is Irish whip. White will let you pick up / drop a weapon in addition to climbing ladders and or cages, and or your tag partner, with the latter needing a pad press toward your partner. The left analog stick and the D-pad move the character, left trigger is grapple reversal, and right trigger is strike reversal. There are actually icons that flash on screen to indicate when to hit the reversal button, but it happens so fast you probably won't even know. Not that the reversal systems in these games were ever that great. To hit a finisher, hit A and B when your heat meter is full. Finally, to pin the opponent, press down and A. The pinning won't hit in the matches where pinning isn't a winnable way, and sometimes you have to be in the exact right position to start the pin or it doesn't work, and sometimes it just doesn't work, period. To be honest, the foundation for good controls are here, but it just feels like there's input delay, like half a second to a second. Movement at least seems to work fine. You're on a more even playing field with real human players versus AI, as is the case with all these games, but even then the AI still struggles themselves. On the whole, the controls are almost good, but a few actual tweaks would make things feel less sloppy. The graphics here are very good, and they are probably the best thing about the game. Out of every WWE game this specific generation, not counting titles that crossed over between both 6th and 7th gen, I feel like this one has the most realistic looking character models of them all, though some would argue for SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, which you do have an argument for. Details for muscles and the like look good, with varied looks depending on the star you select, but the faces are especially really good here. The animations can properly emote, and they also match each superstar's personality to a T. It really brings them well to life in this game, and also details for eyes and noses and the like all look good. Ring gear for each star also looks distinct and fits them well. Beyond that, the animations in general for the game look good. Movement animations look like they do in real life, at least when everything connects. Movement looks well, and the animations and the entrances especially look good. It looks natural and just like you would see it on TV. Same thing with the camera angles, which the camera itself is also actually good as well for the most part. The TV arenas are also modeled well and look like they did in real life. with solid textures and the like. Front Row Crowd also looks better than some of the other games from this gen, though it gets worse as it gets farther back. The more things change, the more they stay the same, I guess. Textures for weapons, tables, and outer parts of the ring look fine, and the game just looks well from top to bottom with very few exceptions. But these exceptions are minor and don't really distract from the game as a whole. Not only is this the best looking Xbox wrestling game, this is one of the best looking Xbox games in general. To be fair, this is closer to the end of system life, so Studio Gigante had many advantages that Anchor did not, like motion capture and moves for example. CAWs and the like look fine, but with how much you have to make unique ones, it's not as varied as other wrestling games. Still, this is a pretty good looking game, but the fact that the graphics are probably the best part about it is kinda sad. The sound is fine for the most part. Sound effects for the game are what you would expect. The sound effects all fit the bill when it comes to strikes, ring slams, weapon hits, slamming people through tables or into other objects, etc. It doesn't stand out, but it fits. It just works. Where the game's sound design really stands out is the voice acting. The commentary actually sounds pretty good here. The teams will sometimes differ depending on the arena you select. Sometimes it's Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, other times it's Michael Cole and Taz. For what it's worth, they actually do sound genuine. Dialogue flows naturally, delivery is strong, the quality of the voices are good, although sometimes they can sound not so good in some other instances, but these are very few and far between. And they do help bring the action further to life like you are watching it on TV. Sometimes things can get repetitive when it comes to certain pieces of dialogue being heard a few too many times, but that's minor for the most part. Even the voice acting in story mode is good. The superstars sound like they should, the interactions they have with each other and your character are believable, and it puts the voice acting seen in SmackDown vs. Raw to shame. Speaking of SmackDown vs. Raw, the soundtrack. With the exception of Powerman 5000's When Worlds Collide and Showcore's Bonecracker, every song that was in SmackDown vs. Raw appears in WrestleMania 21, with 5 new additions exclusive for this game. Dead Poetic's New Medicines, Funeral for a Friend's Rookie of the Year, also featured in Burnout 3, Rise Against Give It All, featured in Need for Speed Underground 2, Flat Out 2, NMX vs. ATV Unleashed, Strata the Panic, and serving as the intro theme, Anxiety by the Black Eyed Peas featuring Papa Roach, also from MX vs. ATV Unleashed. The new additions are nice, but some of you may get tired of hearing them, or not. Either way, I think it's a good soundtrack. With how much is in the shop between the Legends, weapons, attributes, CAS and CAC parts, arenas, and there's actually a good amount of replayability here. Now granted, how much you actually want to replay is up to you, but you're going to want to make sure to select that profile before you load up career mode every time to get all the money for all the matches. Anyways, it wouldn't be fair if I didn't talk about career mode here. I did for Day of Reckoning 1 and 2, so you know the drill here. Off to the CAW mode we go! When I first streamed this game, I made a CAW of Snitsky. He turned out okay, but the thing with CAW mode is that it's not as in-depth as DOR 2's. That one had individual sliders for just about every part of the body and really allowed you to make your star the way you wanted to. Here, it's been simplified so much. As a result, all the CAWs kind of have a similar feeling to them. Clothing can help alleviate this to a degree, but as for move customization, it's actually a lot more in-depth than you would think. For just about every situation, you can find a move that fits your character. Strikes, grapples, finishers, and everything in between. But there are some caveats here with not just moves, but other things as well. With moves, there are no preset templates. You can't even assign another wrestler's moveset to a CAW, meaning if you want to create a specific version of an already existing wrestler in the game, like say you wanted to create American Badass Undertaker, you can't just assign Undertaker's moveset to your CAW. And furthermore, when it comes to music, there's an alternate and main custom soundtrack selections. Main lets you use your custom soundtracks, but alternate only has the songs on the game's soundtrack. This feels redundant, and you can't even select an existing wrestler song to use unless you do it via custom soundtrack, something you did not need to do in any of the other games. Ramp and in-ring moves selections are limited when it comes to entrances, and you can't even not have no pyro as an option. There are options in the shop to unlock entrance customization options, but I'm not sure if they actually do anything, especially because I forgot to select my profile for part of my first playthrough and I don't have the higher prestige. Once I figure it out, future me will comment here. Hey guys, this is Future Coffee now, coming in to fill in past Coffee's gap. Yeah, would you believe me if I told you that it doesn't help? These additions in the shop don't even really make much of a difference at all. At least if they're there, they seem to be very buried enough in the game, and the manual doesn't really help you out with how to access these create a wrestler entrance shop features that you can buy. On top of that, I also want to quickly mention the prestige system since I didn't touch on it here. Um, when you create a profile, there are certain tasks you need to do to build your rank up. That's how you move up. The task can be viewed at any time in the profile viewer. When you just click view and view tasks here, you can go in and see what tasks you need to complete to rank up from amateur to rising star to superstar, and superstar to legend. Yeah, I just wanted to touch bases on that since I'm assuming the other options pretty much don't work the same. Pretty much work the same, which they don't really. But honestly, I didn't feel like getting to the last level because I've already played more enough of this game than I ever thought I would. So let's throw it back to past me and finish this damn thing out. With that, time to create a new character. Why a new one? Because unlike Day of Reckoning 2, you can't reuse CAWs for career mode. One shot, and that's all, folks. Since I gotta make this count, and also because he's gonna be featured on the Season 6 finale of Dark Side of the Ring this year, let's go with Muhammad Hassan. We go from Kick the Baby to choking out Undertaker with piano wire. Yeesh, that was dark. Well, off we go. We start off getting introduced to SmackDown General Manager Teddy Long. We're eager to fight, but we have to start off at the bottom. Velocity. He wants us to prove ourselves before we move up. With that, our first match is against Mr. Obnoxious Frenchman himself, Rene Dupree. I should mention for these Velocity matches, you have to win them in 3 minutes or less, which given your lower stats seems like a tall task, but it's actually not that bad in amateur difficulty. Hell, you don't even need to hit your finisher. You can just chain lock them over and over again until their meter runs out, then hit one more, pin, and voila. Of course, you'll have to play with a bit more finesse in order to get more money. It's like the system in the 2K games where if you hit enough stats, you can earn a 5-star rating. Those Meltzer stars don't earn themselves, and neither does this in-game money. Afterwards, Rene confronts us as Chavo Guerrero joins him. He just barely started on Velocity, and already our character is acting like MJF. Yeesh. Anyways, make quick work of Charlie Haas. Then the week after that, we have a no disqualification match against Chavo. Also make quick work of him. And we're done on Velocity. So yeah, that was quick. It was not just a quick warm-up, but it was an introduction showing us how different the main character is versus the DOR games. It's kind of hard to get immersed, though, when you only have one voice and one attitude in Jerk-Ass, and you don't even have different voice options like in Def Jam Fight for New York. We then cut to SmackDown. We become the newest member of the SmackDown roster, and Teddy Long wants Kurt Angle to mentor us.
Congratulations, dawg. You're the newest superstar on the SmackDown roster. Now let me introduce you to the man who's gonna be taking you under his wing. Kurt Angle!
I think I've heard your name before, Kurt. Didn't you used to wrestle or something?
Actually, I prefer Mr. Angle.
One quick match later, Spike Dudley goes down. Shortly after, the Dudley boys take us for a ride. It seems Kurt Angle didn't take too kindly to our attitude, and this is why he sent the Dudley boys. But rather than shaping up any attitude left, it just fuels us up even more. So we end up teaming with Booker T for a bit as we move up the tag team ranks. First, Rene Dupree and Charlie Haas get beat, followed by Rene Dupree and Chavo Guerrero. This sets us up for a #1 tag team contenders match against Rey Mysterio and Rob Van Dam. Right when we walk out, this happens. As such, our match becomes a 2-on-1 handicap. Win, and you get the title shot against the Dudley Boys at Judgment Day. Tensions still boil, though.
Where the hell were you last week, sucker? The Dudley Boys beat me half to death.
You're mad at me? You got yourself taken out, and I had to win the #1 contender match all by myself. The only reason we're going to Judgment Day this Sunday is because I beat Mysterio and RVD single-handedly. I've got a match against Bubba tonight, and you'd better have my back. And try not to get jumped on the way to the ring.
Don't worry about me. Just make sure your punk ass doesn't get kicked too hard by Bubba tonight.
We then face off against Bubba Ray Dudley. Expect interference on both sides. Not any good ones, you know. Yeah. Anyways, the Dudley Boys then try to convince Kurt Angle to help them.
Kurt, my brothers Bubba Ray and Devon have done everything you've asked them to do. And we are very concerned about the very real chance that they could lose their tag team titles tonight. Booker T's partner survived a beatdown from all of us. He beat RVD and Mysterio single-handedly, and he hasn't lost a match yet.
Spike, don't worry. I've decided to give the Dudley Boys the home field advantage by making the title match a TLC match.
This actually doesn't, though. Weapons can help drain the opponent's health faster, so get the advantage early and beat them for the belts. We then cut to SmackDown, where we're cutting a promo that leads to more turmoil.
What you talking about? It was the Booker man that...
Oh, I guess the jig is up now.
Gentlemen, let me offer my heartfelt congratulations on your title win. Unfortunately, I've convinced General Manager Theodore Long that SmackDown doesn't really need a tag team division.
Which makes this tag arc entirely pointless. Also, I know Kurt Angle was GM at some point in 2004, but weaseling his way with Teddy like this? Greedy. Then again, our character's attitude sucks, but still, take the high road, man. We face Booker T in a match to advance in a #1 contender US title tournament. After him, we take on Rob Van Dam. After we make quick work of him, next week shows tension between Mr. Thursday Night and the Master of the 619.
You lost last week. It seems to me like you might have been the one who dropped the ball in our match.
Don't be too hard on RVD, Ray. You're gonna see that the tag team loss wasn't all RVD's fault after I beat you tonight and become #1 contender for the United States title.
We then make quick work of Rey Mysterio. John Cena is cutting us down when guess who shows up?
Whoa there, Cena. Hold your horses. The United States title tournament isn't over. See, I freaking hate every superstar in it, especially the #1 contender. And I want to see them beat each other up some more. Therefore, by the power vested in me by General Manager Theodore Long, I'm making it a double elimination tournament. Tonight's main event is a fatal four-way match between Mysterio, RVD, Booker T, and the current #1 contender.
You'd be surprised what happens when you isolate one opponent in a fatal four-way match with mediocre AI. Or not. It makes it easy. After the fatal four-way, Booker T comes in to talk to us.
Titles the other day. The general manager may be able to take away the tag team division, but he can't take away how good it felt to win the championship with you. I want to wish you good luck this Sunday.
Thanks, Booker. I appreciate it.
Hey, you still got your title belt?
Yeah, I think it's in here somewhere.
You know what? The general manager hates you so much, he said I could become the #1 contender if I could beat you in a cage match.
And by GM, we really mean Kurt Angle taking advantage of Teddy Long. Anyways, repeat the same strategy you used for every match up to this point, then just escape the cage. The way they move out of the cage reminds me of how long it took to get out and show down Legends of Wrestling, and that's not a good sign. Anyways, win, and Cena cuts you down once again.
Beat you so bad you wake up next year. Take a good look, dog. The champ is here.
Well, now on to Vengeance and the last man standing match. By and large, you just have to tear the opponent down, but you'll really want to get their legs. That's right, you can red on every other part, but if you don't get them legs in some way, shape, or form, they'll keep getting up. Hope you have a leg submission move, because that will really drain them down. Okay, maybe if you damage the upper part enough, that might do it. I don't know. It didn't in my playthroughs, so I had to do what I had to do. After you win, your celebration is short-lived, because guess who shows up to ruin it? Oh, and then he pulls a Jay White and steals the U.S. Championship. He then cuts a promo on the SmackDown after Vengeance.
Have you ever seen the champion express his support for our troops or seen him salute the flag? I'm not even sure he is a U.S. citizen. I swear I'd rather see Hillary Clinton wear the United States title.
We've had enough, so we come out and we challenge him to a match. We beat him, and we've done more to actually get our title back than MJF did when it happened to him. The three stupids of JBL, Angle, and Cena then conspire to try to ruin our reign.
Mr. Angle, we've got to get the United States title off of that punk. It's driving me crazy to see him disrespecting America like that. You gotta get General Manager Long to give me a title opportunity.
Don't worry, JBL. I've got even a better idea. I've made a couple of phone calls, and I'm gonna make sure that he's no longer the United States champion after SummerSlam. One way or the other.
Hey, yo, Lumpy, I got an idea for getting the title off him. Give me my rematch.
Don't worry, Cena. Theodore Long says that I can't violate the terms of your contract. So you'll get your rematch at SummerSlam. But it's gonna be in a triple threat ladder match against JBL and the champion.
One match later, we see JBL and Cena having a match. We interfere to get our revenge, and then this happens.
That is it. I just talked to Theodore Long backstage, and he's banning you from SmackDown until SummerSlam. And let me tell you something, kid. SummerSlam is where your perfect record, your title run, and your career are all going to come to an end.
Kurt Angle really wants insurance, so he calls upon Evolution to stop us. One ladder match later, and everything seems fine, right? Well, nope. Yep, we're out of commission thanks to them. And guess who returns to save our ass? Eric Bischoff.
There you are. Why haven't you returned my calls?
Come on, Bischoff. You saw what Evolution did to me. I'm finished.
You think you're the only person that's ever been beaten down by those guys? I want them gone as badly as you do. I'm sick of having them have the run of Raw. I tried to have them suspended after their attack on you. Instead, Vince McMahon and the board of directors just gave them a slap on the wrist. They're too well connected. I'm willing to pay for all your retraining. More importantly, I'll give you a spot on Raw where you can take your revenge on Evolution.
So as you can see, he's going to put us through a series of matches against various legends, starting with Jimmy Snuka in a high school gym. After that, Bischoff informs us of the future plans.
Okay, it's time to learn how to beat Ric Flair's submission skills. The greatest technical wrestler of all time, Bret Hart, is waiting to whip you back into shape.
Why here?
Hey, technical wrestlers need a high-tech facility, and this place is state-of-the-art.
That makes no sense.
Okay, it's the only place Bret would agree to show.
One Bret Hart match later, we're going to the Boiler Room.
Hey, I'm sparing no expense, kid. Besides, basements and boiler rooms are somewhat of a specialty of your next opponent. See, if you're going to face Evolution, you've got to endure attacks from multiple superstars. So I've arranged to meet hardcore legend Mick Foley down here in order to test your stamina. He agreed to try you out because of his strong dislike for Evolution. It's equaled only by his twisted obsession for pain.
After fighting Mankind, our biggest, and I do mean that literally, test awaits us.
Don't talk to me about hell, kid. Hell is what I had to go through to arrange this next match. This might be your most important lesson so far. You need to learn how to match Batista's power when you face him a week from Sunday at Unforgiven. If you win this one, trust me, kid, Batista will be no problem.
Oh yeah? Why is that?
Because, kid, I've spared no effort to deliver a one-night-only match against Andre the Giant.
That's right, Bischoff Necronomicon Andre the Giant from the dead. How? I have no idea. He's the biggest pain in the entire game if you aren't a super heavyweight, because, well, look at him! So yeah, anything that doesn't involve picking him up, use it. No, better yet, exploit it. With that, our final test awaits us.
It's time for your last lessons. If you're going after Evolution, you've got to have the crowd behind you all the way. So I've set up a match between you and one of the great fan favorites of the WWE, The Rock.
With our training done, we find ourselves at Unforgiven. Bischoff then pulls the rug under Batista.
Well. Batista! You still have no idea who you're facing, or why there's solid steel around that ring now, do you? And where's the rest of Evolution tonight? Oh, that's right. They've already had their matches. And they're headed back to the hotel to celebrate their victories. Well, let me tell you something, big man. Tonight marks the beginning of the end of Evolution. I brought a superstar to Unforgiven who truly has no forgiveness in his heart for what you did to him at SummerSlam. And in the spirit of Unforgiven, I've decided that this match will take place under the most unforgiving circumstances. So your match will be a Hell in a Cell match.
Apparently, irregardless of how you treat this match, Batista gets beaten so bad that you never see him again for the rest of the game. Edge and Shelton Benjamin are talking about this as we walk by them on the way to our next match, against Tajiri. Orton and Flair try to interfere but you manage to overcome the odds. After our match, the two confront us and try to attack us. Orton flees the scene, which leaves poor old Ric Flair to get whacked in the head with the chair. The boys aren't happy about this.
I can't believe the nerve of that punk last week, treating Evolution like that. Rick, I'm really sorry I couldn't help you. Just as I was about to attack him, I got a huge cramp in this leg and I had to leave the ring.
Don't you worry about it, Randy. You're the Intercontinental Champion. You shouldn't have to worry about taking out the trash. That's something the Nature Boy, woo, and Triple H are going to take care of tonight.
Triple H tries to ruin our match against Rhino, and he fails because incompetent programming can't even make him look strong right before the Reign of Terror was about to end. And once again, Evolution isn't happy.
Is going to get the ass kicking of a lifetime by the Nature Boy and the greatest living wrestler today, Triple H.
Now it's time to put the limousine-riding, jet-flying, kiss-stealing, wheel-dealing son of a gun in his place. They don't take too kindly to this, and they complain to Bischoff about this.
We want a handicap match against your boy, and we want it tonight.
Rick, I'm sorry, but that's not going to happen. Evolution's not what it used to be. You're only as good as your last match, and my protege has never lost one. And speaking of last matches, Rick, you better watch your mouth, or you might have yours sooner than you think. But because I never get tired of watching you get your asses kicked, I'll give you a tag team match between my protege and an old friend of yours, Hunter, Shawn Michaels.
One tag match later, our characters still just, well, just watch.
But great job against Evolution. I'm really impressed by how well you handled them.
First of all, Sean, you can take your congratulations and stick them up your ass, and I don't give a damn what you think of Bischoff. For all the wars you've had with Evolution, they still ran the show around here until I came in. If you'd done your job, they never would have been in any position to nearly cripple me at SummerSlam. And since I got here, I've retired one of them, and I'm about to take out Flair tonight in our submission-only match that he asked for.
I think you're missing the point. I'm a competitor, not a killer. I'm out to win matches, not end careers.
That's what makes you a weakling, Sean.
Well, we then take on Ric Flair and make him tap. Just for good measure, we really finish him off. Bischoff is very pleased.
I can't believe you destroyed Ric Flair with his own move. I mean, the traders say he's out for at least 4 to 6 months. And Evolution didn't even bother to show up tonight.
Well, kid, I hope you're happy with yourself. You've killed the careers of one of the greatest superstars of all time and one of the WWE's hottest young prospects.
Sean, Ric Flair killed his own damn career.
That's exactly my problem. Ending careers is something Evolution does. And if you stoop to their level, you're no better than they are.
In any case, we have a normal 1 versus 1 match against Shawn. We then set our sights on Randy Orton.
Good work against Michaels last week. I am so sick of his holier-than-thou attitude. Now it's time to set our sights on Randy Orton. I've got a different tactic in mind for the legend killer. There are 2 things that Orton cares about more than anything in the world: his Intercontinental title and his ladies. Take away the second, and the first is yours.
This match can get really hectic, such as seeing the AI pull a James Ellsworth and try to get the title in a match where they aren't even a legal competitor. After we win, well, we get Trish. Though Bischoff has another wonderful, awful idea in mind.
Trish is quite a catch, but you know what would really rattle Orton? Having 2 divas hanging off of him.
Once Matt Hardy goes down, Lita follows us. Trish then tries to get into Matt's head.
Matt, you should hear what they're saying to each other. I don't even think a girl like Lita knew some of those words.
We then take on Matt Hardy once more in a tables match. Needless to say, this win makes the ladies less interested in Randy.
Hey there, ladies. Want to spend some time with the real champion after the show tonight?
Sorry, Randy. We've already got a man, and he's gonna win the Fatal 4-Way match to become the #1 contender for your Intercontinental title tonight.
We then face Shelton Benjamin, Christian, and Matt Hardy in a Fatal 4-Way IC title #1 contenders match. After winning, Randy tries to call in some help at Survivor Series.
Hunter, seriously, where are you? It's Survivor Series, and I've got the Intercontinental title defense of my life. It's a ladder match. My challenger is undefeated, and I need some Evolution support. No, I know it's just you and me now, but that still means we gotta back each other up, right? Okay, we'll just try to get here before my match, all right? Oh, and there's something else. I'm afraid that I'm losing my sex appeal. Hello? Hello?
Another ladder match to go. Just when everything seems fine, tension starts forming. And then... oh, the learning tree.
But talk is cheap. Just like Trish. So how about a title match right now, champ?
Bring it on!
It's to have help in your corner for a change. Well, nice in that regard. Just you, that is. And Jericho is none too happy.
Bischoff, you scumbag, you jackass, you ass clown. I'm sick of your little schemes. The thing with Lita was the last straw. Stop it, or I'm gonna stop you.
Chris, we've known each other for a while. We've never liked each other. But I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to give you another title opportunity. No disqualification this time. That's how much confidence I have in the Intercontinental Champion.
One win down, Bischoff comes out to tell us to finish him.
Good work, kid. Now break him in half. Why? I've beaten him twice, and I got nothing against him, except for the fact that he's a cocky jerk.
Don't question me. Break his back now. Fine. Have it your way, Trish.
Betrayal, and then she gets thrown out by Jericho. Our face turn finally puts us on the path for the World Heavyweight Championship. Bischoff doesn't take too kind to this.
Let me get this straight. You just won the Intercontinental title? And now you want a chance for the World Heavyweight title belt? You've got to be joking.
I'm serious as a heart attack, Bischoff. In case you've forgotten, I destroyed Evolution. And I'm undefeated in the WWE.
Well, you can start down the World Heavyweight Championship path if you want, but your winning streak is about to come to an end. Because your first match on the road to the championship is against a man you can't hope to defeat. Kane.
5 minutes later, he's done. Not before Hunter with the golden sledgehammer, and then Bischoff.
What was that you said earlier about destroying Evolution?
Oops, probably should have taken care of him.
In 2 weeks at Armageddon, that superstar will meet Triple H, Kane, and Shawn Michaels in a #1 contender Hell in a Cell match for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I'm going to give everyone a little preview of it when those 4 men meet in a tag team cage match next.
So, tag team cage match. What this entails is that not just one, but both team members must escape the cage. You can do your part easily, but pray the AI does theirs, or you'll be history. With Triple H and Kane out for the night, Bischoff pits us against Shawn Michaels in a no disqualification match. Oh, and afterward, remember what Bischoff said about Triple H and Kane being off?
I lied.
Welcome to Armageddon for the Fatal 4-Way Hell in a Cell World Heavyweight Championship #1 Contenders match. Boy, that's a mouthful. You know what to do by now. I hope.
Last Sunday, I became the #1 contender for the honor of facing Chris Benoit for the World Heavyweight title at the Royal Rumble. I've faced some of the best, but I can't wait to get in the ring and prove myself against the best there is.
But you already did face Bret Hart earlier.
Sorry to interrupt, but I've got to make a correction. Yes, kid, you became the current #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship at Armageddon. But if anyone beats you between now and the Royal Rumble, he becomes the new #1 contender. And that's exactly what Triple H is going to do next week in a cage match. But in the meantime, you're going to have to face Kane tonight in a last man standing match. Good luck.
Yeah, a last man standing match against a big guy. This doesn't sound fun, but remember to get the legs. After that, we have a little talk with Chris Benoit before our cage match with Triple H the following week.
I've got too much respect for the World Heavyweight Championship to put it on the line against someone who got there on a cheap shot or against someone who isn't 100%.
Chris, seriously, thanks, but no thanks. I can fight my own battles.
I really love the drama, guys. It makes for great TV. And just think of how dramatic it's going to be next week when you two team up against Kane and Triple H in a tag team tables match. Benoit, you'll either have to face your Royal Rumble opponent or work together with him.
Our cage match, then our tag team tables match. I should mention here for tag teams table matches that only one member has to go through a table for a team to lose, unlike the cage matches. Have some consistency, damn it.
I am the table!
The post-match beatdown goes horribly wrong for us, but the Royal Rumble match, well, not the titular match, but the match we have at the Royal Rumble goes well, and we win the title. Meanwhile, on the same show, Eddie Guerrero loses the WWE title to Kurt Angle thanks to Big Show interfering. We aren't too happy about this, and we confront him during his promo on SmackDown.
You know, Kurt, there's one obstacle you've never overcome, and that's me. You tried to take me out, but I'm still here. And I'm ready to return the favor.
You know it's the Mac Militant. Coming to get it on.
Hold on, player. You lay one finger on Kurt Angle, I'll have Vince McMahon strip you of the title and suspend you. This is my show, you feel me? If you're going to disrespect the brand separation, you're going to wrestle as a SmackDown superstar tonight in a handicap match against the Big Show and John Bradshaw Layfield.
This handicap match is tougher than the last one, but it's not that much tougher unless you fight Show, who's like Andre the Giant and can't really be lifted unless you are a super heavyweight. Jericho and Shawn Michaels give us props for their job well done.
Kid, your performance on SmackDown was awesome. Way to go.
I agree, but I'm more concerned about your future on Raw. Specifically, who's your first World Heavyweight title defense going to be against,
I know exactly who he's going to defend the belt against. You think I don't know that you three are plotting against me? Let's see how your little schemes play out when you face each other in a no disqualification triple threat title match right here tonight.
Unfortunately, this match might be the worst. You have to pray that everything goes right, and you must fend off Angle's interference. We then head to No Way Out, where Eddie is about to fight Kurt for the WWE title. Our job here is to interfere and cost Eddie the title. Why? Well, the game doesn't explain, nor does it explain that you need to hit Kurt, when either way, hitting either man should lead to the same result, a disqualification win where the title does not change hands. My guess is we want revenge on Kurt Angle for what happened before, when he sent Evolution after us to try to end our career. However, guess who shows up after we cause trouble?
Stop it right now. I've had enough of this. It's going to be settled once and for all with a special championship match at WrestleMania 21.
Wow, did I hear that right? Is it going to be champion versus champion at WrestleMania 21?
Yeah, great. But what are you gonna do about my title match, S.A.? What about that?
I'm sorry, but your rematch was declared a no contest, but in the interest of fairness, I'm willing to make a special match on tomorrow's Raw, where you'll face the World Heavyweight Champion in a ladder match for the title.
Eddie Guerrero can take Raw's most prestigious title tomorrow night.
And after that match, the World Heavyweight and WWE Champions are both suspended until WrestleMania 21.
It's a fact.
So yeah, we went from the Day of Reckoning 1 story to the Day of Reckoning 2 story ending, with a last man standing match involving both titles. Another ladder match later. Seriously, we've been running too many similar match types for a while now. We retain the World Heavyweight Championship. At last, we've arrived at the final match in the game, but not before future contenders get into a big ol' brawl. Kurt Angle then claims to finish the job tonight.
How do you feel about facing the undefeated World Heavyweight Champion, a man you've never defeated, in a no disqualification match?
Michael Cole, I've seen it all and done it all in the WWE. And maybe I've never beaten this rookie, but he's never beat me either. I almost ended his career once, and I'm going to finish the job tonight. I'm going to bring the unified title home to SmackDown with a little help from my friends.
With that, last brand standing. You know what to do here. After beating Angle and getting both belts, we survive one last beatdown. Then, that's it. Then you have to roll the credits manually from the menu. They don't even do that for you. Never mind that. With that, end of WrestleMania 21. Oh, wait a minute. That wasn't the WrestleMania 21 arena. That was the WrestleMania 20 arena. I think that's the perfect amalgamation of this game. When the titular arena doesn't even show up in the game based on the specific event. Let's just wrap this up. WrestleMania 21 really just... I don't even know anymore. Graphically and sound-wise, this game excels on those fronts, on top of having plenty of bonus content to keep you coming back. But the actual gameplay really feels half-baked. AI problems, and not the too hard kind, though that may vary depending on the difficulty you select. Collision issues, sluggish feeling gameplay, a story mode that doesn't feel as in-depth or as exciting as the Day of Reckoning games, a lackluster create a wrestler and create a championship modes, a restrictive unlock system, not auto-loading a profile when starting, or even just letting you select a profile before you go to the main menu, a la the 6th generation 3D Sonic games. And the game just feels the worst out of all the WWE games on Xbox we've reviewed up to this point. I wasn't kidding when I made that Showdown Legends of Wrestling comparison earlier. This feels like the WWE equivalency to that game, which is not a good thing. And if you go on Wrestling Bio's video about this game, someone in the comments section mentioned that they got in touch with John Tobias himself, and well, Tobias explained to that person what the hell went wrong here. Studio Gigante wanted to make Tao Feng 2, but THQ hired them to work on this. Tao Feng 2 never happened since Microsoft and Studio Gigante could not agree on a budget/development time. And with this being the only possible thing to save the studio, the game ended up rushed as a result, with little to no QA testing done, many match types and multiplayer things getting cut, this Create a Wrestler mode being lackluster, many planned wrestlers getting cut, including Billy Gunn, Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, Hardcore Holly, Rikishi, Steve Austin, Teddy Long, Victoria, and even Vince himself. There's actually a mod that you can get in Xbox Media for Center for gamers that restores Goldberg, since his model is still in the game, at least for modded consoles and emulators. And this isn't even counting any legal issues regarding WWE and THQ with the roster and the soundtrack, which probably explains why Ric Flair's theme isn't included. As a result of this hellish development, the wrong version got released, although I think we can chalk that up to Microsoft actually pressing the wrong version. My guess is Studio Gigante sent the wrong version, or something got lost in translation, I don't know, and as a result, Xbox Live support did not work at launch. This was later fixed via an update, the Platinum Hits release, and even a disc replacement program. When it finally did work, there were still problems. Not knowing who had voice chat on, lag issues making the game even more sluggish, and problems when trying to voice chat. Yeah, what a mess. If you've exhausted the other options for Xbox wrestling games, maybe give this one a go if you can get it cheap and you want one to play online, since it is Insignia compatible. And I ended up getting mine for $5, but don't expect quality here. I give WrestleMania 21 a 2 out of 5. Happy anniversary, I guess. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe below and check out the playlist on screen for more content. To help support the show beyond the usual means, check out my Patreon and Ko-fi on the link tree in the description. And come by my Twitch where I conquer my backlog one game at a time. See you in the next video.